One night in Venice, the quiet is broken by a heated argument between two men, Rodorigo and Iago. Rodorigo, a wealthy nobleman, has been paying Iago, a low-ranking officer in the Venetian army, to help him win the love of Desdemona. But despite Iago's promises, Desdemona has just secretly married Othello, the general whom Iago serves. Iago is also angry because Othello has recently promoted Michael Cassio, a less experienced soldier, to the position of lieutenant instead of him. Bitter and vengeful, Iago vows to ruin Othello for this insult. Under the cover of darkness, the two men wake up Desdemona's father, Brabantio, by shouting up to his window with alarming news, claiming that his daughter has been stolen and forced into marriage by Othello. Finding that she is actually gone, Brabantio becomes enraged and gathers some men to confront the general, while Iago slips off to avoid being recognized as part of the plot. Meanwhile, at Othello's home, Cassio arrives with urgent news from the Duke. The Turkish fleet has invaded Cyprus, and Othello is needed right away. But before he can report to the Duke, Brabantio bursts into the council chamber, followed by Rodorigo and an angry crowd, and accuses Othello of using witchcraft to steal his daughter. Unbothered by this incredibly racist and unfounded accusation, Othello calmly explains that Desdemona fell in love with him, not through spells, but through admiration of his bravery and the hardships he faced in battle. Desdemona now appears herself, confirming that her love is real and that she willingly married Othello. Moved by their honesty and love for one another, the Duke approves of their marriage, and Brabantio, defeated and humiliated, slinks off. Now that this matter has been settled, Othello is ordered to sail for Cyprus that very night, and Desdemona insists on going with him. The next day, however, news arrives that the Turkish fleet has been destroyed by a violent sea storm, so Othello's work is done before he even arrives. Cassio's ship is the first to reach Cyprus safely, followed soon after by Desdemona's, which also carries her stalker Rodorigo, Iago, and Iago's wife Emilia, who serves as Desdemona's lady-in-waiting. To everyone's relief, Othello's ship is finally spotted as well, and Cassio grasps Desdemona's hand to reassure her that he is safe. But Iago notices this innocent gesture, and a cunning plan begins to take shape in his mind. Once Othello and Desdemona are joyfully reunited, Othello announces that there will be a feast that evening to celebrate their unexpected victory. But not everyone is in a good mood, as Rodorigo sulks about the couple's seemingly unbreakable bond. Iago knows just what to say, however, and convinces him that Desdemona will eventually become bored of Othello and turn her attention to Cassio, not Rodorigo. He tells him that the only way to win her heart will be to destroy Cassio's reputation by starting a fight with him during the celebration and disgracing him in the eyes of Othello. That night, Iago plays his part by getting Cassio to drink more than he should. And just at the right moment, Rodorigo enters, and a brawl erupts. In the chaos, Cassio ends up stabbing Montano, the governor of Cyprus, who had stepped in to break up the fighting. Othello rushes in after being woken by the scuffle to find his trusted officer at the center of the violence. Angry and disappointed, he immediately strips Cassio of his rank, just as Iago hoped he would. Cassio is obviously distraught by his fall from grace, and confides in the worst person possible, Iago. Pretending to be sorry for him, he suggests that Cassio goes to Desdemona to help him gain favor with Othello, knowing that her kindness will make her likely to listen. Cassio is desperate at this point, and agrees, unaware that he is stepping right into Iago's trap. As soon as Cassio leaves, Iago reveals the next phase of his plan, to make it seem as though Cassio and Desdemona are having a secret affair. Still shaken from his demotion, Cassio would do anything to win back Othello's trust, so he takes Iago's advice and approaches Desdemona for help once Iago conveniently leads Othello away. Although Desdemona is loyal to her husband, she feels for Cassio and promises to speak to him on his behalf. Just as Cassio is about to leave, Iago and Othello return, and Cassio slips away without greeting his general, something Othello immediately finds suspicious. Seizing the moment, Iago subtly suggests that Cassio and Desdemona might be hiding something from him, maybe even an affair. This tiny seed of doubt begins to grow, especially when Desdemona comes to Othello soon after, pleading with him to restore Cassio to his position. Confused and annoyed, Othello leaves the conversation complaining that his head is hurting. But when Desdemona offers him her handkerchief, the very first gift he ever gave her, he brushes it off, saying it's too small, and it falls to the floor. The couple head off to dinner, and Emilia, finding the dropped item, gives it to her husband, remembering that he has often asked her to steal it for him. This is the perfect opportunity for Iago, who plants the handkerchief in Cassio's room to make it look like Desdemona gave it to him as a symbol of her love. He then goes to Othello and rats him out, telling him that he saw Cassio wiping his face with it. This is the final straw for the tortured general, and consumed by jealousy, he swears to get revenge, and wants Iago's help to do it. Later that night, Othello tests the innocent Desdemona by asking her for her handkerchief, and when she can't find it, his anger boils over and he storms out. Meanwhile, Cassio has found the handkerchief in his room, and has no idea where it has come from, but is impressed by its beautiful pattern. Curious, he asks a woman named Bianca, a prostitute that he has been seeing, to copy the design for him. But Iago isn't finished with his cunning plan. He sneakily sets up a situation where Othello can overhear Cassio talking to him about Bianca, making it sound like he's bragging about an affair with Desdemona. At that moment, while Othello fumes with anger, Bianca storms in and throws the handkerchief back at Cassio, furious that he gave her something that clearly belongs to another woman. This is undeniable proof for Othello, and when Desdemona enters with another man who carries a letter ordering Othello to return to Venice and leave Cassio in charge as his replacement, he lashes out, striking Desdemona in public and storming away, leaving everyone shocked and horrified. Now fully convinced that she is cheating on him, Othello confronts Desdemona and accuses her of being unfaithful. But no matter how desperately both she and Emilia insist that she is innocent, he refuses to believe it. Ominously, he instructs her to wait for him alone in her bedchamber later that night. Sensing danger, Desdemona confides in Emilia, who also feels that something is terribly wrong, although even she still has no idea that her own husband has been the one orchestrating all the chaos. In the dead of night, Iago puts the final pieces of his plan into motion. He tells Rodorigo to ambush and kill Cassio to stop Othello and Desdemona from leaving Cyprus and ruining Rodorigo's last chance of winning her love. But the plan quickly goes sideways. Cassio fights back and survives, although he is wounded when Iago secretly stabs him. As others rush to the scene, Iago plays the role of the concerned friend. Pretending to be shocked, he discovers that Rodorigo was the attacker and kills him on the spot, silencing the only person who could reveal that he was involved in the plot. Back in Othello's chambers, the general is overcome by jealousy and grief, truly believing that Desdemona has betrayed him. Despite being aware of the danger, Desdemona still loves him and desperately pleads her innocence one last time. But Othello is too angry to stop now and smothers his wife on the bed. Moments later, Emilia arrives, only to discover Desdemona's lifeless body. But in a tragic twist, Desdemona suddenly revives and claims that she took her own life in an effort to save her husband before she dies. Othello confesses to the murder, however, convinced that he was justified because she had cheated on him with Cassio and had the handkerchief as proof. Iago now enters with Montano and some other men, who are shocked at the scene before them. Seeing her mistress is truly dead, Emilia finally understands the full horror of what Iago has done. Heartbroken and furious, she exposes the truth about everything: the handkerchief, the lies, and the way that Othello was manipulated. Devastated, Othello tries to kill Iago, but he escapes him and manages to kill Emilia before she can say more. Iago is captured, while Othello wounds him in the struggle and is disarmed. The broken and disgraced man is told that he will be sent to Venice to stand trial for what he has done. But before they can take him away, he gives a final speech, asking to be remembered not for this moment, but for the man he once was. Unable to live with what he has done, Othello uses a hidden blade to take his own life. Deeply saddened by the events of the night, the Duke of Montano sentences Iago to execution, and with no one left to inherit it, Othello's house and possessions are passed to his friend.